My name is Nikita Nijhuis, and today I will be talking to you about providing sustainable energy to everyone on Earth without destroying the Earth in the process. First, let's establish the problem. Fossil fuels are running out, plus they are terrible for the Earth. Mostly the draining of oil and the output of CO2 have catastrophic consequences for the Earth and everyone and everything on it. Therefore, an alternative is much needed. A possible solution can be using nuclear energy as an alternative to fossil fuels. Nuclear energy is quite a wide topic, and therefore my teammate and I will mostly be talking about whether or not using nuclear energy will be good for the Earth and everyone on it. There are two sides to this issue. One side does want to change to nuclear energy because they believe it is a good solution, and the other half does not want to change to nuclear energy and would rather stick to the current resources or change to anything other than nuclear energy. In this presentation, I will be discussing the dangers and consequences of nuclear energy and offer alternative solutions suggested by scientists. My teammate will be discussing how sustainable nuclear energy is in her presentation. We will both be using the same main question and will be approaching it from our different perspectives. Our main question is, should we use nuclear energy as an alternative to fossil fuels? According to Greenpeace, the answer to this question should be no, because it is unsafe. Greenpeace says that nuclear energy has no place in a safe and clean and sustainable future. They say it is expensive and dangerous, and just because nuclear pollution is invisible does not mean it is clean. Renewable energy is much better for the environment, the economy, and does not come with the risk of nuclear meltdown. The reason they say this is because it is quite a new resource, and therefore not much research has been done on the consequences, especially long term, and therefore they believe that in the long run nuclear energy will do damage to the Earth, us, or both. Therefore, it is not without reason that people are worried about the consequences of nuclear energy. David Lochbaum also agrees that nuclear energy is dangerous. He's the director of the Union of Concerned Scientists Nuclear Safety Project, and he says that nuclear energy sources are dangerous because they emit radiation, particles, and energy shed from unstable molecules which are trying to calm down. Those radioactive missiles can hit the human body and damage cells or DNA. Enough radiation can give you cancer or possibly even pass genetic modifications onto your children, and too much can just kill you outright. The need for a new energy source is a global issue, but the terrible effects of this possible solution can be seen locally as well. In 1986 in Chernobyl, as you can see on the pictures here, there was a nuclear power plant explosion in which huge amounts of radioactive material were hurled into the air. In the minutes to years that followed, hundreds of thousands of recovery operation workers, which are called liquidators, went in to clean up the toxic mess and to put out the fires. These liquidators were immediately exposed to very high levels of radiation. These very high levels of ionizing radiation can cause radiation sickness. At Chernobyl, these liquidators quickly developed radiation sickness, and 28 of them died from it immediately. Within a couple hours after exposure to radiation, sickness can develop symptoms such as diarrhea and vomiting, and the radiation also attacks the bone marrow and stops it from producing infection-fighting white blood cells, meaning that the body can't fight infections. So people often die of blood poisoning or sepsis within a couple of hours of being exposed. High levels of radiation can also cause burns and blisters to the skin, which show up minutes to hours after exposure, and it looks just like a sunburn, so it doesn't actually look like you've got radiation sickness. The people who did survive radiation sickness took years to recover, and many of them still develop much damage to their bodies, especially to their eye lenses, according to the World Health Organization. Of course, since then the this has become safer. However, explosions can never be ruled out, and no matter how secure, they will do much damage. But even small exposures to radiation can lead to diseases such as cancer. However, not much research has been done on this. So this is because even if you are exposed to a little bit of radiation and are noticed and monitored, you still have to live 10 years or more before it can be said for sure that whether or not it has done damage. Greenpeace does not want to wait on this research and suggests using renewable energy sources such as sun, wind, and water instead of using nuclear energy. Why wait for something that could possibly not be dangerous when there is a better and safer solution right under your nose? With renewable energy sources, resources which are already present here on Earth are used to create energy. And these resources are, unlike nuclear energy, they are not dangerous, and they are mostly not used for anything else, meaning they're not taken away somewhere. Also, as the name already says, they are renewable, which means we can and will not run out of them, which will eventually happen with fossil fuels, so sticking to fossil fuels is definitely not an option. No matter what, this issue must be solved, because it's our responsibility to provide energy for future generations and to find a more sustainable way of doing so to protect the future of the Earth. I personally believe that at this point in time, nuclear energy does not provide this option, and maybe it will somewhere in the future, but that for now we should listen to Greenpeace and make it our mission to and our priorities to switch to renewable energy sources. Thank you for listening. These are the sources which I used in my presentation. Thank you.